I'm Richard Randall. Welcome back to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations that you see on Zillow, or they just look at their neighbor's home and see the asking price. They try to determine that is what their home is. I ad-libbed it. I'm sorry. I'm going to do it again. New clock again. 3, 2, 1. I'm Richard Randall. Welcome back to the Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb has the buyers. Barb, a lot of people look at those automated valuations like on Zillow, or they look at their neighbor's asking price to determine what their home is worth. So how does a home seller decide what price to set when they're selling their home? And how do they know how much they're going to put in their pocket when they do sell?
Well, thank you, Richard. Actually, pricing your home correctly can mean the difference between a home seller getting the most amount of money or a home sitting on the market, not selling, slowly walking the price down, and in the end, netting less money. So pricing a home is kind of an art. And part of what we do is we make sure that our clients have all the information so they can make the best decision about how to price their home. Almost every seller wants the most money, of course, and that's what we try to get. But there is a strategy to it. If you price it too high, there'll be very few showings. There'll be hardly any offers. So it's going to tell you, the market's going to tell you once you're on the market if you price it too high. If you price it too low, you're always going to get some buyers who are going to come in at that low price. But generally, the market will correct itself and the buyers will come in and make their best offer if you price it on the low side. And the National Association of Realtors actually did a study and determined that if you price your home high and then slowly walk the price down, you'll actually net less money. You're better off being priced right at market within the first 10 days of being on the market, because that's when all the buyers' eyes and the buyer population are looking at it going, oh, look, that's a new one. I want to go see that one. So as far as the automated valuations, those are fascinating to me. Zillow lost $500 million a year or so ago, trying to rely on their computer algorithm to tell them what their home is worth. And then they turned around and flipped those homes and lost money. Now, Open Door is doing the same thing. They're putting these homes on the market. They're pricing them exactly at the automated valuations, and their days on market are actually way longer, 2-3 times longer than the normal days on market. If you go on realtor.com, on any address, you can look this up for yourself, put in your own address, and you'll see 3 different automated valuations of what they think your home might sell for. And the range sometimes can be as much as $100,000. I recently sold a home in which their range had this big range like that, but the home actually sold for $35,000 less than their lowest valuation. So you need an expert to help you price the home just right. Here's an example. Right when the market started shifting this summer, put a beautiful home on the market. It was relatively new, back to open space, granite everywhere, gorgeous home. We thought similar sales indicated $625. I thought that was a reasonable price. And we were getting showings, but no offers. And she's like, I got to go. What do? I said, make a small correction, 2 or 3%. So we came down just below 6 and boom, we got a contract right away. If your home needs updating, you need to price it accordingly. And if it has something else special about it, actually, it will still probably sell for market value if you price on the low end. That's what happened at this one property here in Colorado Springs, where it was a complete 70s, what I call a 70s time warp, meaning there wasn't any real updating since it was built in the 1970s, but it was kept in very, very good condition. And they ended up pricing it on the low end of the spectrum. So remodeled homes were selling in the mid 4s. Other homes were selling below 4. They priced it below 4. We had 95 people at the open house. We got 10 offers. This is after the market shifted, and it ended up selling like a remodeled home. So there is a strategy to getting more money if you price it what I call very realistically. Um, and then the other thing that you want to look at is make sure that when you're looking at similar sales to your home, that you're comparing apples to apples. You cannot compare your neighbor's house that has 2,000 square feet more. It's probably not similar, and they have to be the same type of floor plan. You got to compare a ranch to a ranch, and a ranch with a finished basement against a ranch with a finished basement. You can't compare a ranch with an unfinished basement to a ranch with a finished basement. It's apples and oranges. So we help you do that. We also look at similar competition and make sure that you put your buyer's hat on, because that's what the buyers care about. They're not necessarily looking at history. They're looking at, okay, this is my price range. What can I get in my price range? So we look at all different floor plans in that scenario to try to help you decide how to position the home so you get the most money. So if you are thinking of making a move in the next 2 to 6 months, and you would like tips on how to prepare your home for sale, how to position your home to command top dollar, both with preparation and pricing. Plus, we'll go over all the various closing costs and show you how much you'll put in your pocket when it sells, and give you a really good idea of what a buyer would pay for your home. Call us at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com and click on Find My Buyer. Richard?
You're listening to The Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can listen to the replays of this show anytime on all of the major podcasts, as well as her website, barbhasthebuyers.com. That's Barb Schlinker, Schlinker. And if you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900. So Barb, what are other magic bullets on pricing your home to get that top dollar?
Well, first of all, when you put your home on the market, a lot of buyers do what they call a search in $50,000 increments. Many of the websites are structured that way, and many buyers are searching below what their max availability is. So we get offers all the time on our properties where the lender says, hey, they qualify for whatever, 500,000-600,000, but they're offering on a home that's far below that, because most people actually don't want to really stretch their budget with a home unless they absolutely have to. So you want to make sure that you position the home to be the best home in your $50,000 increment. And then once you decide on that number, we're going to sit down and we're going to go over all the various closing costs and give you a really good idea on what you're going to put in your pocket when it sells. And actually, the biggest expense for most people when they sell their home is paying off their mortgage. The good news is the home values have gone up a good 40+% in the past 4 or 5 years. So you should be in a good equity position. So one of the things we'll create is what we call a estimated seller's proceeds, where we give you a really accurate information about all the expenses, the selling expense, title insurance, the closing fees, settling up taxes. So you know exactly how much you're going to put in your pocket when it sells in a range, and you pick the price on where to market your home. And these days, you cannot really expect a bidding more. If it happens, you should do the happy dance. It's a lot of fun for a seller for us to show up with a handful of offers and they get to pick the best one. But it's not going to happen all the time. It really depends on the home and how you position the home against competition. We are still getting some homes that are getting bidding wars, and it's super fun. So how do you know if you've actually priced it right? How do you actually pull off the pricing game correctly? First of all, the market's going to tell you right away based on the showing activity. If you're getting tons of showings and offers, you're right on target. You nailed it. It's okay. You just get to pick the best home. But let's say you're getting tons of showings and no offers. Well, what that means is you're just a little bit high. So buyers are looking at it. They like what they see, but not enough based on what else is out there for them to make an offer. That means you need to make a small adjustment on price. And if you're getting very few showings or no showings at all, we're kind of way off, and we got to rethink the pricing strategy. And it's the seller that makes that happen. So as you know, what's been happening in the last 6 months, because the market actually shifted, is that a lot of agents are telling their sellers, hey, your home is worth this much. So they're telling them, they're not involving them in the decision, being fully convinced that that's true because they're looking at historical sales that sold a few months ago that might be a match for that home. But the problem is the market has corrected a bit, depending on where you are, 3, 4, sometimes 8, 9%, depending on where you are in the front range. And that is why for the month of December, we saw almost 32% of people cancel their listings, expired listings that didn't sell because they relied on an agent that really didn't have the pricing expertise in order to help that home seller price it right, so they can get top dollar. That is the key. You want to make sure that you price it right. And actually, in the next segment, we're going to be covering a really cool section that's called How to Choose a Real Estate Agent. We have some great reports that you can download on my website. And this is something brand new that we're starting on our YouTube channel every single week. And we're going to highlight some kind of crazy stories that happen in real estate, because not all real estate agents are the same. I hate to say that, but unfortunately, the training and the standardization just is not there in the industry. Some are great and some are they need some training. So on our YouTube channel, we created this new weekly short video series entitled Warning Sign, Bad Agent Adventures. And we've got some doozies. So in this week's video, we're going to be covering how an agent actually let the buyer move in the seller's home prior to closing without permission. Can you imagine that, Richard? Can you imagine that if you were the owner of that home?
I would be so angry. And that's one of people's worst fears is they come home and there are squatters in the house they're trying to sell.
Yeah. And here's the thing is you actually have to evict them according to the state laws. But we were able to solve that issue without evicting them, and everything closed on time and we got them out. So we're going to do those YouTube shorts every single week. Though that one that I already have online is getting thousands of views. And we're just telling our experiences about things that happen. And you want to make sure you hire the team that is checking on these things, because the last thing you want to do is show up at your home and find out somebody's already moved in. Richard?
That you can take care of things like that does not surprise me. More than 20 years along the Front Range, marketing, buying, and selling homes. That's Barb Schlinker. This is the Real Estate Voice Show. And if you're thinking of selling your home, you want to get the most amount of money, of course, then call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to choose a real estate agent for selling, and we'll talk about Barb's hot new listings. Stay tuned for that.